How did you get started in the business?
Yeah, so I was in retail, fashion retail for about 10 years. And when I was younger, I saw that I had a lot of potential in the industry and that I was given a lot of opportunity for growth at a very young age. So I just kind of like ran with that. And I got, eventually exactly where I wanted to be within that industry, which was a store manager.
Mm,
And I quickly realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and
mhm,
that I think I was mainly chasing after money and not, like
mm,
a passion and something that was gonna give me, a lot of happiness, in the long term. So when I was a store manager, I kind of had this like, and it was during COVID and I was just dealing with a lot and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I actually quit and I didn't have a backup, which like I tell everyone, like, if you're gonna quit your job, like get a backup job, like don't do that to yourself. But I did it because I was just so broken down by the retail industry and
mm.
God, like I mean, I'm sure a lot of people could agree that COVID really took, its toll on everyone. But yeah, I quit and I didn't have a job and I didn't know what I was doing and it was definitely a quarter life crisis moment.
Right.
But I actually met up with my aunt who I just adore and we went to the Huntington Gardens in like the Pasadena area.
I love that place. I know
And
what you're talking about.
yeah, it's gorgeous. And so we were just sitting and we were talking and she was like, "Well, what are you going to do? Like, like what are things that you like?" And I was just like, "Wait a second. Like we're doing it right now, like flowers
Mhm.
and things." And I've always had in the back of my mind like being a florist was plan B. So literally right then and there was a florist in the Malibu area that we both really liked. And I was like, I wonder if they're hiring. And I actually went on to Indeed and they were hiring for just one position that was actually seasonal for Mother's Day. And I was like, this is crazy. So I applied and I got the position. And yeah, I just kind of went from there. I started as like a floral assistant and kind of helped out for Mother's Day, and they kept me on and then trained me to be a floral designer. And then, yeah, I was learning from a master florist. She'd been in the industry for about 18 years. And she taught me everything that I need to know. And now I work for a very great company and now I'm growing my own freelancing business and I'm just super happy with how it all turned out. But yeah, that's kind of the story.
No, thank you for sharing. I love hearing your story because, like you said, you're in retail and it just wasn't something for you. And like a lot of folks that are listening, like sometimes we're in a place that we're not happy about. We always can make that choice, but it's always going to come with risk when you move and try something else. What I love about your story is that even though you did transition out of retail and didn't find work immediately, you did find a job, a season opening. They enjoyed you. That's why they kept you on. Now you're kind of creating your own business and your own kind of like legacy in a way, what you want to do and your own passion. And so definitely I love that because people that are listening, it's never too late. I like that you took that risk. Doesn't matter who
It's
you
never
are.
too late.
Exactly. And I wanted to ask you, going back to the retail section of it, what were the challenges that you were dealing with during that pandemic time?
It was just tough. I mean, I was in a management position. So when we had to deal with a lot of people were laid off.
Mm,
I wasn't one of those people, but that was tough because we're letting go of people during a really scary time.
mm.
And then just dealing with COVID itself, I actually didn't get COVID until pretty recently.
Wow.
And I got pretty sick, but it was just scary, just the unknown. And a lot of the companies that I worked for during that time, they didn't know exactly how to handle COVID, and no one really did, but they did their best. But it was just scary, knowing like, are we doing the right thing by being open to the
Right.
public? Should we close again? Like, uh, should the masks stay on? Like, if
Mhm,
even when like the county was saying like they can come off, like
mhm.
it was just so much like uncertainty and no one really knew how to deal with it. And also I think that, I mean, it took a toll on everyone. Yeah. So yeah, it was just a really difficult time, when no one really knew how to deal with all of these new challenges. So it was just a very scary time. And then also, I think that, retail is like dealing with the public, and everybody was just, I think the pandemic has really changed people, because
Mm,
when I first started in retail, the thing I loved the most about it was the people, like helping people.
yeah,
And then it's almost like when the pandemic started and then things were kind of starting to open up,
yeah.
um, dealing with the public just became really hard.
Mm.
And I think eventually it just broke me down. Um, and and yeah, that was kind of the bulk of it. But
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I know that it was a challenge. There was probably work shortages. I'm sure people were more impatient in what they wanted to get, but it's like, hey, there's a lack of people, so how can you put all that responsibility on me or the company as well? And it's just a little too much stress. You have a lot that's been going on, but I'm glad to hear that you started your own business. And I wanted to ask you about it more, was like, how do you go about kind of getting clients or getting business yourself? Because I know it's probably tough right now in this economy as well with inflation and prices.
yeah, so my freelance business is fairly new. So a lot of my clients are, they start as friends or family, and then my friends and family have kind of helped me gain more clientele, by just like spreading the word. And I also, um, I just believe like use the tools that are available to you. So social media is huge for me. I have an Instagram and a TikTok for my business account, and then I promote my business account on my personal TikToks and Instagram. So just like pushing through social media has really helped me, and staying on top of posting, and that kind of thing. And then, yeah, my day job, I'm a store manager and lead florist for another floral company. So, I definitely don't steal clients or anything, but that's where I
Thank
get
you.
like my experience from. And then if there ever like, if there ever were anything that I couldn't do through that business, then I could do on my own, and just like getting my name out there.
Very cool. I like that you started out the social media, even using TikTok. How has that been going on with TikTok? Do you make like little skits with it or presenting the flowers that you create?
Yeah, so I just try to make like fun videos that, will keep my audience engaged. So usually it's like, about 1 second clips of all the arrangements that I've done for that week, or I even showcase like some new exotic flower that we picked up at the market. Just like trying to keep it like fresh and exciting and fun. And so far it's been great. I just started my business TikTok, so
Hmm.
that I'm still kind of working through, but I started promoting all of my like floral business on my personal TikTok, which got great like reviews and feedback. And so yeah, it's just a work in progress, but so far so good.
Very cool. What tips would you offer for anyone that wants to come into the same industry that you're in and how you started out?
I would say a tip for a new florist is protect yourself and your business. Like don't
Mhm.
take yourself lightly, because that's kind of what I did in the beginning. Like I just told myself, I was like, "Oh, I'm just a beginner," like, or like, "Oh, I'm just a floral assistant." And no, like if this is what you're passionate about, like you are that floral assistant, you are that floral designer, and like just, I don't know, like also when it comes to what you're charging your clients, um, don't feel like you have to explain everything to your clients. Like your work should speak for itself. And then, yeah, I think that the best advice that I've ever received in the industry so far in terms of being successful is that your work, like I said, will prove itself. So just keep trying to expand your skills and be the best that you can.
And I'm curious, so you're more on the introverted or extroverted side?
I'm, pre-pandemic, I was super extroverted, and then, after the pandemic, I feel a little bit more introverted. I don't know, maybe everyone feels that way or not, but yeah, I'm definitely in the middle now.
Very cool. Because you mentioning both sides. Have you ever had a challenge of kind of like being shy of getting a client, or do you still have those anxious feelings like, oh man, I got somebody, it's exciting, but you're like, oh, I wonder how to deliver this, or the price like you're mentioning. Does that still kind of come?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because definitely through the pandemic, I developed a lot more anxiety.
Mm,
So I think that there are moments where I do kind of tend to like shut down, but I think just, you know, I believe I'm good at what I do and I have so many like years of communication with people in the retail industry. So that kind of gets me through those tough times of anxiety.
And it's cool to hear that you have that background as well as a manager, because not only just managing yourself, which is the most important thing, but you manage people. And I think that's a great skill set because, like you said, communication, the people you talk to, you can kind of understand the flow of it or how to approach them because everyone's a different personality. So I think it's pretty awesome that you have that background. And I kind of want to like pick at that is like, how do you go about approaching people when you're kind of talking to them? Do you kind of like meet their level, or do you kind of like have a different response towards them or their energy?
So it's funny you bring that up because I've actually been diving into this with myself because sometimes with certain clients, I feel like I might, that day I might be in a really good mood, like everything's going my way.
Mm,
Everything is great in my world, but for them, it might be a little bit different. So I might come off as like a little too much, and I can kind of pick up on that right away. So then I
mm,
like to meet people's energy,
mm.
um just because, like you were kind of mentioning like introverts and extroverts. For an introvert, somebody like me on like a great day of mine might be a little energy sucking for them. So I definitely try to meet in the middle there. And yeah, so
Very cool. No, thank you for sharing that. And kind of going towards the end of the podcast, did you have any goals for yourself for the rest of 2022 and your business, and any other like visions you have for yourself?
just growth, just
Mm,
growing that business, more clients. I specialize in events, so I'm trying to book more weddings, bridal showers, art gallery openings, things of that nature. Yeah, and I want to see more income from like my freelancing side of things, so from my personal business. But yeah.
very cool. And as we're like nearing the end, were there any shout outs or anything you wanted to share with the audience of where they can follow you or find your stuff, or any new project coming out, maybe potential websites or the links they can try to apply for in the sense of maybe your events? Maybe if you can share that as well.
Yeah, so right now I am a florist at the Books Co. And our first retail location is on Robertson Boulevard in Beverly Hills. So you can find me there. I can do custom arrangements and hand tied bouquets for you there. And as far as for my freelance business, which is called Half Magic Flowers, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Website is in the works. But yeah.
Very cool. I just want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast and just sharing your background and story. And definitely excited to see how your business kind of grows the rest of 2022 and beyond. So thank you.
Thank you so much.